I just want to say, I think the budget does show the values, and there's a 525% increase in the EPA while there is a decrease in defense spending. There is taxes that go higher for 700 billionaires, but for $700 billion tax cut for millionaires. I don't know. I mean, from where I'm from, millionaires are rich people too. So we're doing a tax cut to millionaires while increasing on billionaires. I hear all this about how great the economy is going and how many jobs, the unemployment rate is the lowest and how many jobs are created. But here's what my people see in Mississippi. They go to a restaurant at lunch, which is closed because there's not enough workers to open that restaurant. There's not enough workers to do the job. So if there's truly job increases and more people working, then why don't we have employees in restaurants and places where people go to eat? The other thing I see is inflation. You talk about no tax on people under $400,000. Well, I agree with Ranking Member Smith that, first of all, the $2,000 in taxes that goes away with the tax cut, that is a tax increase. It's $2,000 every American, regardless of income, will pay next year. The other is $3,500 annually in inflation last year, $3,500 more. What my people see, they don't see a better world today than they did last year. They see worse. When they go to the gas pump, when it costs $40, I'll talk, because I have to actually fill up my car. Instead of filling up and it costing $30 or $40, now it costs $70 or $80 to fill up. And trying to blame Putin for the gas raising prices is just not, it's disingenuous. Prices were high before he invaded Ukraine. Here's what I will tell you. In last year's budget, 3 considerations were given the most thing. And number 3 of those, this is from the president and from the budget last year, not funding work that directly subsidizes fossil fuels, including work that lowers the cost of production, lowers the cost of consumption. That means prices at the pump, cost of consumption is what you pay for gas, or raises the revenues retained by producers of fossil fuels. When you intentionally raise gas prices, you intentionally raise gas prices. And after you do that, you don't get to blame it on something that happened after the fact. I want to talk just a little bit about defense. This budget proposes that we raise our defense a little bit, but we went through this same thing. But a lot of that goes to climate, to other things. What we need to do is make sure we keep above. The House and the Senate Armed Services Committees both sent to you that we needed a 5% increase over inflation. Can you truthfully tell me at the current inflation rate that the number given to defense is a 5% increase over the rate of inflation this year?
I will tell you our number is 9.8% over the 2021 levels. We believe we sent up a budget that is strategy-based, and we're not going to pick a budget out of thin air for political purposes. The Secretary stands behind this number, and we believe when you see the National Defense Strategy, hopefully this week, that this budget is aligned with strategy.
I agree that it does not. It does not meet the 5% increase over inflation, which means China and Russia continue, and this is a dangerous time, and we need to continue to raise that. I go back to budgets show the president's value. He's creating 87,000 new IRS employees to target folks making less than $400,000 to see where they spend every one of their dollars through monitoring their bank records, so we can make sure we get every single dime out of those making less than $400,000 than we do. He is decreasing taxes on millionaires while raising it on billionaires, but I would argue he's also raising it on those people. And if you talk to the normal person, they truly do not believe that the economy is better off right now because their groceries go up, their milk costs more per gallon, their meat costs more, they are having to substitute things that they would rather not eat, they can't afford to fill up their cars now, they put in $10, which barely gets them any gas, and the gas prices will continue to go up as long as we continue to try to cause them to go up. And going back to the president's words last year, he intended to make the cost of consumption of fossil fuels go up in his last year's budget, and I would say he succeeded in that. I hope he doesn't succeed in raising taxes on the IRS, invading our homes, and in continuing to not support the American people. I yield back.